and next week.
Where are you off to, Joe?
I'm in Manchester. I've come up to do the last, for the term, the close-up class. So literally I come in and out. I'll be home back. I'd like Hashem. Trains all running on town.
Our Rebbetzins here.
Now. Good morning, Rebbetzin Silber. That looks like a lovely cup of tea.
Yeah. It's not tea, but it usually is.
Okay. Well, enjoy.
Just some water. A little bit of water. You look wonderful.
Okay.
Are you driving or someone driving you?
No. Somebody's driving me. I'm in Manchester. And I literally just got off a train. So, yeah, it's not a shame. So I just wanted to be here. My train was late. So I could be here to welcome you this morning.
Wow.
Welcome everybody. And in the tragic way of receiving some of our hostages home, when I spoke to my friend Shelley Perez, I said, as you're reading through the names, you're just loving, please, Daniel, it's like, come on, Hashem. But she said, what's so amazing, I was like, so forever live. And she says, it gives us so much hope. It just gives us hope. So, we just keep on. I won't come in at the end, but I will see you later, and I'm going to be with you later, okay? So enjoy, everybody, and use our prayer about Tehillim to bring the Geula.
Okay, who's host?
Can you mute me, Haley? Haley's host, but if you can mute me, because on this phone I can't find the mute thing.
Okay. So Haley, you have to let everybody in. Is this being recorded? Yeah, okay, because I'm not putting it on my, I'll let you put it on the YouTube. Because I am not doing the live right now. Okay, so it's true that, we're looking at lists of names and everyone we have to not ask any questions. We don't know anything. That's really what I keep saying over and over again. We don't know anything. We don't understand anything. But we just keep going on. And as Rebbetzin Dov says, every week we're going to keep going on. We're going to keep waiting for the Geula. We're not going to get tired. We're not going to get frustrated. We're not going to get worn out. We are going to make it. Bezrat Hashem. Everyone's going to make it. We have to stay strong. We have to be full of hope. We have to know that Hashem adores us and loves us. And everything that ever happened to us is from Hashem's love and kindness. And just all day long, we're talking about that. Now, again, the way that it works with Tehillim, and every time it happens, I just get more and more blown away. Whatever we're up to in life is what appears in the Tehillim that we're saying or that we're learning. So we're finishing up today, chapter 31, Perek Lamed Aleph in Tehillim. We're up to Pasuk Chaf, verse 20. And we're going to talk about a thought that every one of us should have at least once a day. And we'll see what that thought is in a few seconds. First of all, we want to say the shir for Refuah Shlema, for everyone who needs a Refuah Shlema, a complete healing, for any Jew who needs a healing, for any righteous Gentile who needs a healing. We want to say the shir for the Eli Neshama of everyone who was lost so far. They don't really need our Tehillims because they're on a very, very high level. Every one of them is on a very, very high level. But still, it's our privilege when we can Haley, you're going to have to keep admitting people into the, you know how to do that? Yeah, okay, good. When we can give something, when you're supposed to, when you come to tzaddikim, you're supposed to try to bring them a gift. Tzaddikim don't need anything in the world, But when you give them a gift, when you come and you give them a gift, even if it's just a smile, or even if it's a real gift in the physical world, when you give a tzaddik a gift, it's very much to your advantage because you become included in the soul of the tzaddik. So when we say Li'ili Nishmas, all the Kedoshim who passed, it's to our advantage because we're now having a portion in their soul. And each of these people, each of these souls, as you know, was handpicked to go through what they went through so that they could bring the Geula closer. And the tzaddikim said that every one of these neshamas that lost their life, they actually did not have to come to this world. They were born only to do this mission. And so they fulfilled their mission. It's not just the idea that every time a person dies, they are fulfilling their mission. That's not always true, by the way. Sometimes we fulfill the mission as much as we could possibly do. Hashem says, okay, let's get that person back in Shemayim and give them another chance for another lifetime. I know that they say that, they say that at a Shiva house, the person fulfilled their mission, but it's not so clear. But these neshamas who died al Kiddush Hashem here in Eretz Yisrael, they fulfilled their mission. Because again, according to the tzaddikim of this generation, the whole reason they came to this world, and they went through birth, and they went through childhood, and they went through bar mitzvah, bat mitzvah, and they went through college, and they went through getting married and having children. But all of that was secondary. The purpose of them to come down was to give their life for the Geula. And now they really fulfilled their mission. So let's do Pasuk Chaf. Marav tuvcha shesafanto lirecha. This is a very, very famous pasuk. We have it in davening. What a great amount of goodness have you hidden, Hashem. We're talking to Hashem now. Hashem, you've hidden a huge amount, an infinite amount, if stored away, of tov, of goodness, lirecha, to those who fear you. Ha'alta lachosim bach neged b'nei adam. And you're giving this to those who trust you, as opposed to trusting people. So Chazal tell us that this pasuk is alluding to Olam Haba. Let's talk a little bit about Olam Haba. Let's talk about something that you want to know the word meaning, the tachlis. Tachlis means purpose. When it says in Sfarim, when it says in the holy books, or when tzaddikim talk about thinking about the tachlis, being focused on the tachlis, on the purpose of life, they're not talking about, I want to focus on the purpose of life, what am I supposed to be doing in this life? The idea really is you're supposed to be focusing on the day that you're going to leave this world. The tachlis means when you leave, and what have we accomplished? And have we done today something that will bring God's malchus, his kingship, into the world? Have we done today something that will bring more light into the world? So for sure we have. You've all said Shacharis already. You all daven Shacharis, and you've made your bracha. And some of you are already getting in the kitchen, getting ready for Shabbos. And you're saying before anything, L'kavod Shabbos Kodesh. You're saying all the food, Kol HaBishulim, L'kavod Shabbos Kodesh. If you're still shopping, you say Kol HaKinuyot, all the purchases, L'kavod Shabbos Kodesh. If you're cleaning, Kol HaNikayon, L'kavod Shabbos Kodesh. And even if you have someone cleaning the house for you, you could say about the work that they're doing, Kol HaNikayon, L'kavod Shabbos Kodesh, HaKol, L'kavod Shabbos Kodesh. So you've already done that today. Everybody's doing something already. It's Thursday for Shabbos. So we've already brought a lot of light into the world. But every single day, once a day, a person should sit down for a second. How long does it take? It doesn't take anything. And just think about Olam Haba. Olam Haba means the world to come. It means the eternal world, the world of eternity. It means the purpose of everything. The purpose of everything. The Ramchal teaches that why did Hashem make people? Why did Hashem do any of this stuff? Because Hashem wants to give us pleasure. And the ultimate pleasure is, and right now we can't really understand this because right now we're in physical bodies, but the ultimate, Hashem will give each of us the ultimate pleasure. The ultimate pleasure, which is eventually going to be a spiritual pleasure, the ultimate pleasure for eternity, forever and ever. We can't conceive of that right now, because right now our souls are limited in a body. Our soul, your soul by itself can conceive of this, But right now, the brain and the emotions and the consciousness cannot conceive. Marcel, you okay? Yeah? Okay, good. Good. Just making sure. Since I see you on my screen. Good. Anyway, sorry. So right now, our being cannot conceive of eternity because we are bound in time. Our being cannot conceive of pleasure that's above, that's spiritual, because we're bound in the physical world. But Hashem says, I created you to give you eternal pleasure. That's the purpose of God's creation, to give his creations eternal pleasure. And where does that eternal pleasure take place? In some place called the world to come, the world that's coming, the world that we're creating by our life. So one today, think about Olam Haba. Just for a second, don't think about the day you're leaving this world, because we hope that Mashiach comes and we won't have to leave this world. We hope that the world will segue into a higher level of goodness and a higher level of happiness and a higher level of spirituality, etc. And so, but we want to think about the world to come and the world of eternity. So that's what this pasuk means. Ma rav tumcha asher safanta lireecha. How great is the goodness that you have hidden away from those who fear you. Why did Hashem hide away Olam Haba? Why isn't it visible? And why is it that many people, tzaddikim in this world, they have a harder time? Wouldn't it be easier if all the Rishonim, all the evil people in this world, all the evil people right away have a miserable life, and all the good people would have a good life? Wouldn't that be easier for us to be good, right? But then it would take away free choice. And we see that mostly the evil people are successful and the good people are scraping by, right? Who are the rich people in this world? Politicians and celebrities and sports people, all the people who are making everyone miserable. I'm not a sports person. Forgive me if you are, and I'm going to say something that might annoy you. But instead of watching a game,
amazing.
Oh, Haley, you have to mute Rebbetzin Dove. Instead of watching a sport, you should be doing a sport. Don't sit down on the couch and watch tennis or watch baseball or soccer, whatever you have over there. Get up and move. So sports is a very watching sports. The whole sports industry is a very unhealthy situation. Certainly celebrities, actors, actresses, etc. It's all not good. And these are the people who have the money, have the fame, have the power, and people listen to them, and people think that what their opinion is smart, right? No, the tzaddikim who is sitting in a room someplace. You ever saw Reb Chaim Kanievsky's house? I'm sure some of you went to get a bracha there. You ever saw the shuls here, even though we try to make it beautiful and mifar, but the bottom line is that, the money is not with the frum, the money is with the others. And so why did Hashem hide Olam Haba? Why does he hide reward for righteous people? And that's because Hashem on purpose wants to make it that you earn it. He wants to make it that you earn it. And that you don't trust people, that you don't rely on people, that you don't make your whole life about impressing people, but rather neged b'nei adam, not against the will of people, against the norm, right? The norm is what the norm is nowadays is just not normal. How people live, and they say about, I don't know who said this. So some very famous person said this, that in order for evil people to succeed, they don't need much. They just need good people to remain silent. And so that's sad, because good people just don't like to get involved. We want to remain silent. We know that in the two sins, the sin of the spies that we had, the sin of the golden calf, the majority of the Jewish people did not sin at all, but they just remained silent, ambivalent. They didn't want to get involved. They didn't want to say anything. And the few rabbis, let's say, I'm not going to say names, but for those of you who listen on, to shiurim, there's two rabbis that I'm thinking of. or 3 rabbis that I'm thinking of, who have very big mouths, and they say it straight like it is. And the people who love them adore them, and people who don't hate them because they say it straight. They don't say quiet. And so the neged b'nei adam is sometimes we have to trust Hashem even against the popularity of people, among people, and even good people. How many of my students have told me that, their families get so nervous they're making aliyah. And the family gets so afraid, why are you living, to move to Israel? I'm talking about my students who are Balei Tshuva, who are real beginners, and their families are not observant. And they wonder, why are you coming to Israel? Or people who are sitting and learning, or spending time learning Torah, and the families just don't get it. And they say, be practical, go to college, get a job, you need financial security, as if going to college is going to give anyone financial security. Of course not. That's called neged b'nei adam. Sometimes you have to trust Hashem, even despite the best intentions of other people in your life. And you have to trust Hashem. So Hashem has for us safun. Hashem has waiting for us, hidden, this incredible olam haba. Now, just the word safanta, just because every one of these psukim we could learn inside for hours and hours, just one pasuk, by analyzing every word. But whatever, we're not doing that. We're not doing it right now. But I just want to point out to you that the word safanta, which means to hide, you know that word for 2 reasons. First of all, in the Pesach Haggadah, safun, right? Safun is when you hide the afikoman. And you also know it from what's going on here in Eretz Yisrael, because the Safon is the north. Why is the north called hidden? Because in a Kabbalistic reason. It's the furthest away from the east, even though it's right, geographically not. But the Safon, the north, is where all the action is happening right now. We're cleaning up, we're mopping up the south. And now the next front is the north. So here in our pasuk, we have this idea of the north. Hashem should save us from the Bnei Adam, the human beings who are trying to destroy us. And now, after Netanyahu's speech in the Knesset, a friend of mine, I did not listen to the speech, but my friend did, and she said that it was a very good speech. And she said, all of a sudden, all the anti-Semites are coming out of the woodwork again, even though he got so much honor. They stood up for him in the Congress of America. They gave him a standing ovation 50-something times. That was a record that never happens in the Congress of America. Still, it irritates. It irritates all the anti-Semites. It irritates people who have themselves a miserable life. A person who is an anti-Semite, think about it. If they have a regular life, a family, a job, kids, responsibilities, who has time to be an anti-Semite if they're living a normal life? Really, Be'emet, the ones who are spending their lives in these demonstrations and these protests and all of these things, there are people who have no life. They have no life. They don't have education. If you listen to some of the interviews with these people, you can't believe that they're making so much noise with so little information. Anyway, that's called neged b'nei adam. We want to trust in Hashem as opposed to people. That's one interpretation. Tastirei b'seiter panecha. Hashem, David Melech is asking, please Hashem, the people who trust you, that means us. We're all trying to trust Hashem. We're trying to trust Hashem as much as we can. Tastirem, so hide us, protect us, shelter us, b'seiter panecha, from in the shelter of your being, Hashem, of your essence, Hashem, meruchsei ish, instead of exposing us to the rechasim means the arrogance of people. Now, don't you feel that there's a huge amount of arrogance in the world? Anti-goodness, arrogance, I feel that way. Everyone who's getting interviewed who has a big mouth and who's screaming and yelling and all of that, there's a certain arrogance to them. And when you, again, present them with facts, yesterday I saw an interview, some guy, not a Jewish guy, some, an American with I don't know whatever credentials he has, went into Ramallah and began to talk to people and asked them, and they're all, these are quote unquote Palestinians, they're not Gazans. And they all were very pro Hamas. They said yes, and Israel's the occupation, and this is how they were educated. They were educated since birth that this was their land and that we came in out of nowhere and just took it from them. And so if you're educated like that and you don't go into really searching for facts, you just accept those kinds of facts, then then you become ignorant. So some lady was being interviewed and she didn't have her hair covered, and the interviewer said to her, that if Hamas were right here now, they would arrest you for not having your hair covered. So she said, oh, no, Hamas will be very fair and they'll make elections and, we'll make decisions about how we want to live. They're very good people. So the guy looked at her like, what planet are you living on exactly? And then he said, what about gays for Palestine? What do you think about that? So one of the men said, oh, there's no such thing as gays. They don't have gay people by the Arabs, which anybody who knows Arab society knows that sexual immorality is so rampant that it's a joke. Even they know, but they won't talk about it. It's a different kind of a culture. We who have been brought up about truth, we have a very hard time with lies. We don't understand. I don't understand. How can anyone lie to your face? How can people lie to your face and not like turn red or start giggling? Or how do people lie? But now they're seeing that all the American politicians who were trying to protect their president, they knew that he was incompetent for 3.5 years. They know that he's not able to speak, but they just kept saying things like he's fine, he's brilliant, he's caring, and now on a dime they all turned their back on him, and within one day, all of those same people who were saying he's so this and good and functioning say, oh, never. He can't be anymore the president because he can't function. So you see, people are lying to our faces. And again, people like us who are the people of the truth, the people of the Torah are people who it's ingrained in us. Mitzvah sheker tirchak. The Torah says, run far away from any sheker. Tzedek tirdof. Pursue righteousness and honesty. So we can't handle it. We don't believe people who lie. We just don't believe it. We believe what they're saying because we can't believe that people are lying. So please Hashem, those people who are trusting in you, that's us. Hide us in the shelter of your being, Hashem. Titzpenei b'suko meriv l'shonot. I'll tell you that it's a crazy thing that's going on here on my street. The reason I pause is because there's construction going on, and they didn't hire Jews to construct. And every day, these workers are screaming at each other, and it sounds like they're screaming and yelling, and it's very, very, they're fighting with each other, and it's very, very uncomfortable. That's why I just stopped for a second to make sure that there's no shots and there's no shooting. Here on a quiet street in Harnof. Crazy. Titzpenei Hashem, you have to shelter us. Bisuko in your sukkah, in your shelter. Meriv l'shonot, from those people who are fighting with their tongues. What does it mean fighting people who are fighting with their tongues? We're in Lamed Aleph Shulamit, Lamed Aleph Pasuk Chaf Aleph, 31, verse 21. What does it mean, people who are fighting with their tongues? That's the Lashon Hara that goes around. That's the media. That's the here. In Hebrew, we call media tikshoret, But here, all the people don't call it that. They reverse letters. They say tishkoret, which means the liars. Tikshoret means kasher, means to make a kesher, to make a connection. The same letters, kesher and sheker. Sheker means a lie. So we don't call it tikshor, we call it tishkoret, the liars. And that's it. Save us Hashem in your protection from those people who are using the power of their communication instead of using the power of communication to make peace between people and to make love between people and to make camaraderie between people, because the point of speech makes us different than animals. Animals are survivalists and they don't have the power of speech and the power of rational thinking. Humans have the power of speech. We're supposed to use it to speak to God, to speak to each other in a constructive way, in an encouraging way. So what is this that people are using the power of speech, the power of communication, to lie? How can you do that? Why does a person do that? One of my friends was trying to write a book, and she said she was adamant that she was going to write it and only she would edit it, because she's in a group of writers. She's a friend who is a writer and knows writers and knows authors and all of that. And she said that she wants her book to be in her tone, in her words. She doesn't want somebody else to come and try to impose their identity on the ideas that she's trying to give over. And so that's what the media does. The media has an agenda, and every one of their stories, even maybe if there's a journalist who's objective, but even so, then his or her article will be reviewed by the editor who has an agenda and will change things. Just one word here and there, one word here and there can change the whole world. There was a certain Rav in the Kiruv world who was, somebody put out a Facebook message against him. This particular Rav is a very, very strong Kiruv rabbi. And the person who wrote against him in Facebook is a very angry person and a confused person. Anyway, so there was a rumor going around, and that person wrote it on Facebook as if it was a fact. And then later on came to the Rav to apologize for writing that on Facebook, because that particular person who wrote it on Facebook has tens of thousands of followers, because that particular person is a popular person, I guess you'd call it like that. And the Rav, and she came to apologize, and the Rav sensed that she really wasn't apologizing, but she just wanted to get off the hook, and that she was afraid of punishment. So he said to that person, he said, if there was a rumor going around that a religious army member, did something traitorous, they would write it right away in the media. But if there was a rumor going around that a Knesset member did something traitorous, the media could not write it because in fear of being sued. Instead, they would have to make research to see if that's true. So how is it that you had no problem writing a fact as if it was a fact, when indeed it was not a fact, it was a total lie, and you didn't even try to verify if it was true or not? And that particular post that she made got tens of thousands of votes, of responses. So we have to be careful with how we speak. We shouldn't make riv lashonot. We shouldn't use our lashon, our tongue, to make fights. It's a very, very important thought. You have to think, how can I speak in such a way that I'm not creating negativity? And that I'm not making...
Question about that, Rebbetzin Silber.
What?
Could I ask a question about that?
You could, but I prefer that you don't, but you could.
Oh, okay, no, then don't worry.
Ask at the end, okay? Write it down and ask at the end. Because
Okay.
I want to finish the parak, and I see that I'm running late already. So again, so David Melch is asking, please take all those people who are the who are the victims of Lashon Hara and save them. Because you know that once Lashon Hara escapes a person's mouth, and we know that Lashon Hara is, even if it's true, once it escapes into the world, you can never take it back in again. So save us from Lashon Hara. Baruch Hashem. Now, I want to say that I wrote it down once in one of my storm. I don't have the sefer right in front of me. That there's about maybe 6 times in Tehillim where David HaMelech says this expression that we say all the time, Baruch Hashem. So here you have another one. Baruch Hashem, blessed are you Hashem, ki hifli chastoli be'ir matzor. And because you did a wondrous kindness for me when the city was being surrounded. Now we know we just celebrated Shivas Tammuz 2 days ago, the 17th day of Tammuz. What's the fast of the 17th day of Tammuz about? Excuse me, sorry. It's about the surrounding of the city. Now, all of us, Yerushalayim was much smaller in time of the Beis Hamikdash. It was more concentrated near towards the old city, and there was a wall surrounding. Certainly, there was a wall surrounding where the wall is right now, and that wall was breached when Kolzman. That there was a wall there. So the armies of Nebuchadnezzar couldn't. The Babylonian soldiers couldn't enter. But once they broke the wall. And that's what happened October 7th, and you all saw the very famous October 7th is the 7th day of the 10th month, right? And 7 and 10 is 17, and the 17th, so that in October 7th, the wall of Israel was breached, meaning here now, the protective wall, the wall around Gaza was all breached, it was broken, and they all came piling in. And the 17th of Tammuz, the same thing happened. You know, ladies, we're here in Israel. We're fighting on 2 fronts, and it's a war that we can never win because within the army there are liberals who do not want us to win. That's why the 7th of October took place, and so we can only wait for Hashem, because it's not even the soldiers that are putting their lives on the line. They're not being given permission by their own higher ups to win this war. Ad kadei kach, to the point where 3 of them who were doing heroic missions were actually arrested for killing an Arab. I couldn't even read the articles, but I saw 2 of them when they came and then they were released. But 3 soldiers, the powers that be, whoever arrested them, whoever sent for their arrests, had no shame. They wanted to make sure that the Israeli army follows the directions, and if the directions are don't shoot, then the Israeli army does not want anyone to shoot, and if a person shoots anyway, then they get arrested. So what is that? How can we ever win? We can't win under these circumstances. You have to know that. And it's a little bit of a tragedy when the boys go into the army. They're so naive, and they're so pure, and they're so good, and they're being given instructions. Their direct instructions are by people like them, good and naive and pure, and then the upper instructions. So Hashem has to make a nice for us. We're in an ir masor. We're surrounded by enemies, and Hashem has to make a pella. Hifli means a pella. Pella means a miracle, a loving miracle, and He will. Hashem will make. He will make it. We'll get out of this, but we have to get out of this sooner rather than later. Rabbi Avram Sutton, years and years ago, he's a great rabbi in Telstone. He's a great mikubal. He has a lot of shiurim online. You can learn his shiurim. Rabbi Avram Sutton said a few years ago, he said, the main tefillah that the tzaddikim are davening is that evil should not be allowed to get till the end. Because in the end, we know we're going to have a redemption, but it shouldn't be able to get till the end. And we don't know how close we are till the end. I heard today, at the beginning of a shir from one of the rabbis, the Kiruv rabbis. And again, I don't like to mention names because some people like, some people don't like. But he said we're in the last 5 minutes of the movie. And if you're watching a suspense movie, so the last 5 minutes, all of a sudden, all the questions get answered. Then you understand, oh, who is this guy and who was that guy and why he did this and why he did that. All the strings get tied together, right? Everything begins to make sense only at the end. Until the end, nothing makes sense. Then at the end, all of a sudden you see this guy was really the enemy, this guy was really the good guy, this guy was the bad guy. Only in the end do we see. And we're in the last 5 minutes, we don't to see who's the good guy, who's the bad guy. We don't know. So David Melch says, and again, this is the end of the parak of Tehillim. And the whole parak of Tehillim is talking back and forth, back and forth. I do feel you're saving me, Hashem. I feel you're not saving me. I'm scared. I'm not scared. I trust you. I'm afraid I don't trust you. The whole parak is like that. And that's why the Rav says that a woman who wants to get married should say this parak. This parak Lamed Aleph and parak Ayin Aleph, which we already learned, those two are all about just describing the human condition. And I trust you, Hashem, but I sometimes panic, and then I trust you again, and then I panic again. And that's just how life is. So I said, in my panic stage, in my nervous, my v'chavsi means when I was all shaken up, that you're not paying attention to me, Hashem. You're just not paying attention. I'm screaming and yelling and davening and running away. David Melch was now running away from his enemies. And he said, and when I got really scared, which he did, or maybe he got scared so that we could have a word to say when we get scared. And he says, I feel like I've been cut off from you, Hashem. Nevertheless, however, however, I didn't get cut away from you, Hashem. Instead, you heard me. You heard me when I said my tefillah before. I said my tefillah before, and I was crying out to you, and I was yelling and screaming and crying, and then you didn't answer me, and I thought, I'm cut off, I must have done something wrong, Hashem is not paying attention to me. But no, of course you paid attention to me. I thought that you didn't pay attention to me. However, Shamata, you did pay You did pay attention to me. You paid attention to my voice. When I called out to you. And this word shav'a means to scream out to God, to yearn for God, to call out to him. And the Rav says over and over again, the Rav Shlomo Yehuda Be'eri says over and over again, Vatal shavatam el ha'elokim. He keeps using this word, shav'a. Shav'a doesn't mean just to call out. It means to plead, to beg. It could even be quiet. It doesn't have to be screaming and yelling. Just please, but to plead with your complete intensity. He said we have to cry out to Hashem in that way, b'shav'ah, with pleading, with begging, with yearning, with all of the koach that we can muster up. And that can't be all day, every day. Of course not. We're not on that level, but whenever we can. So I thought Hashem abandoned me, but Hashem didn't abandon me, and he heard me. And that's the last 5 minutes of the movie. Hashem at the last 5 minutes of the movie, because we're going to see Hashem never left us. So many people, it's sad, and we can't judge anybody, but so many people after the Holocaust, they let go, and after these wars, they let go, and they just, you have to hang on and hold on till the very end. Till the last millisecond. And again, we hope we don't have to wait till that moment. But one of the tzaddikim, one of the rabbis, the Chassidish rabbis said that even if it's the year 5,999, and it's Shkia, it's the sunset of that last day, before the year 6,000. And if the Geula hasn't happened, I'm still going to believe that could happen. Now, of course, that was an exaggeration, because that can't happen like that. Because before the year 6,000, we have to have so many things. We have to have Mashiach ben Yosef, and the building of the Beis HaMikdash, and the revival of the dead, and Mashiach ben David, and they all have to come back. Moshe Rabbeinu, Shimshon HaGibor, all the tzaddikim have to come. We have a lot of things that have to happen to us. Really, we're really at the end, the last second. One of the reasons that I always joke, I like to be early to things. I don't like to be late, even though now in my, in these years, I realize that whenever I come in, that's when I'm supposed to come in. But I like to, my father, he should rest in peace, he taught us that you have to be early rather than late. Nobody should wait for you, rather you should wait for other people. And I always say that whenever we have a simcha, whenever you get a wedding invitation, it says 7:30, so right away in your brain, you interpret it means 8:30. I know in the UK you have different hours how you make weddings. You make afternoon weddings and the receptions at night. But here in Eretz Yisrael, we make everything at one time at night. You make the chuppah, if it says chuppah, even if it says chuppah before Shkia, they write 2 ktubas. They have 2 ktubas ready. In case nobody comes for the chuppah before Shkia, and they have a second, they have an alternative. They can make a chuppah after Shkia. Anyway, we have to wait till the very, very end. And if we're all going to come on time, maybe Mashiach will come earlier rather than later. So all of us, now David Melch is telling us, love Hashem. All the Hasidim, that means us. The Hasidim means those who are trying their best to do more than even they think is possible. All the Hasidim should love Hashem. All the Jewish people should love Hashem. Emunim notzer Hashem. Hashem takes the emunim. Emunim is those people who have emunah. And notzer, he saves us. Like notzer chesed la'alafim, he preserves us. He preserves all those people who have emunah in him. U'mashalem al yeter oseh gava, and then he's going to pay back those who are arrogant, who are controlling, who are mean, who are nasty, who are liars. All the bad people, they're going to get they'll get theirs. And us who appear to be not powerful. We're just walking around with emunah, with love, right? What's my ammunition? I trust Hashem. I love Hashem. I try to do mitzvahs. That's my ammunition. That's my gun. Those are my firearms. And Hashem is going to protect us, even though we don't have anything. We don't have gaiva. Gaiva means arrogance. It means pride. It means kochi va'otzem yadi. Kochi va'otzem yadi means I believe that everything the good that happens to me in my life was my own doing. And Hashem is sure. Hashem helped, and I say Baruch Hashem, and I say all the right words. But deep, 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 deep inside, who do you really believe is getting your life put together? And that's the very big topic of emunah and hishtadlus. What does it mean, hishtadlus? I have to make effort. One of the hardest parts of hashkafa is to know that whatever effort I make has nothing whatsoever to do with, Karen, you have to mute yourself, has nothing whatsoever to do with the actual result. It's a very, very hard concept to understand. Haley, can you mute Karen, please? The fact that I make hishtadlus, the fact that I'm making effort is not, no, don't leave. She left. The fact that I make hishtadlus is not creating my whatever I'm making hishtadlus in. It's just a smokescreen for Hashem to allow the blessing to come through. Haley, could you text Karen and tell her to come back on? I hope you didn't chase her off. So that's called ga'ava. Ga'ava means those people who believe that they're themselves running their life. And every one of us believes a little bit that we're running our own life. And only the tzaddikim know that we're doing nothing and Hashem is doing everything. Only the tzaddikim really live with that mindset. Because regular people, if we really believed that, we would minimize our effort. We would say, okay, I'll make one phone call. That's all I need. I need one hishtadlus, one level of effort. I'll make one phone call. I'll make one effort to whatever. But we don't do that. We make effort because we really subconsciously think that what we're doing is actually having effect on the result. Hi, Karen. I hope you didn't think that we chased you off. No, that's okay. You're good now. You're very good. Thank you. Thank you for coming back, sweetie. Okay, but there's the last pasuk. Be strong. This is the pasuk we say again and again and again. Be strong and have courage in your heart. And again, be strong and have courage and take courage and renew yourself. Chizku, be strong. Now he's saying it in plural. And let your heart be courageous. Omes is courage. Kol HaMeyachadim Hashem, all of us who are waiting for Hashem. Be strong. David Melch is telling us, and he's telling it to us for the year 2024 in the Goyish calendar, the year 5784 in the Jewish calendar, the Hagel. He's saying, stay strong, stay courageous, don't be afraid, don't give any energy to any negativity. We're all, if you want to use this mashal that I used a while ago, if we can imagine that we're all within a huge, huge ball that is Hashem. We're all within Hashem. This is all within Hashem. All of us are safe. We're totally safe. Our neshama is safe. Our bodies eventually will be safe. Everything of our being is safe. We're safe. We don't have to worry about anything. It's literally like a how do you say that? A virtual reality game. We are in a virtual reality game. And it looks real and it feels scary, but it's not. It's totally safe. And I told you my story, my virtual reality story, and I'll just tell it again because we have a few minutes. I'm very afraid of roller coasters. I don't know if you call them roller coasters in the UK. You call them that? Yeah. I don't like them. There's enough drama in the world. I don't need anything stimulating my whatever, adrenaline. Anyway, so I went years and years ago, I went to Disney World. I went to actually both. And I said, I'm not going to go on anything scary. Everybody goes on all the scary rides that they drop you, like in 2 seconds, you drop from 100 meters above down to the floor. And of course they say it's safe until Chas v'Shalom there's an accident. It should never be an accident. Anyway, so I wasn't going to go on any rides. And I went on one of these things. I like science fiction. There was a science fiction thing there, like a display of science fiction, and I went on it, and I asked them, and they were showing a movie. So I said, is this scary? They said, no, it doesn't move really. You're just sitting in a chair and you're watching a movie. But they did I'm just saying the story very, very short. They made the movie this is a story that goes back 28 years ago. They made the movie with something called virtual reality. I had never seen virtual reality before. And so I was sitting in a seat. It was like a movie theater, looked like a big room with seats. And then right before the presentation, the lady who was presenting said, okay, everybody fasten your seatbelts. And I looked and I saw that indeed the seat that I was sitting on had seatbelts. And I said, I wasn't ashamed. I said, why is it seatbelts? Does this thing move? Because I was going to get right off of it if it moves, because I don't like these scary things. I thought maybe the whole room would go up to the air. I didn't know what I was thinking. So she said, no, it's just for the ambiance. It's just to, make you feel like. I said, okay, I buckled my seatbelt. Then they showed this, they blacked out the room. They showed this movie. And in the movie, it was virtual reality, which now I've seen it, but then it was the first time I saw such a thing. And they're showing you as if you're in a roller coaster. If you're in a roller coaster, so you see the sky above you, you see like a car, a few of the roller coaster cars in front of you, and then you see all this and they're plunging down, and then you're going down, up, and that. So what they did was they moved the chair that we were sitting on ever so slightly forward and ever so slightly backward, and they would spray hot air at you over here and cold air over here and misty air. And every time they showed a scene, they made the environment. Now we were just sitting in a chair, but the chair would jiggle a little bit, and it felt like being on a roller coaster. And I'm telling you, so I just closed my eyes. I said, I'm not going to experience this. I don't like my adrenaline rushing. I don't want that. And I closed my eyes and I didn't watch it. And every once in a while I would open my eye and peek to the movie, and I would see that like it's rushing. It appears that we're rushing into a ball of fire, and then all of a sudden they shoot hot air at you. So you're getting all this sensory stuff, and it makes you feel it makes you feel like you're in a roller coaster. Anyway, what did I do? I stood up, and the whole thing was over. Everybody's clapping. It was great. They all loved it. They loved it. I stood up and I sat, and then you had to walk in from one side of the room and walk out from the other side of the room. I stood up. Everybody walked out. I sat down again. I wanted to do, and the lady didn't notice. So, because I had one of these tickets that you can go on every ride for free. So it wasn't like I was taking, right? So I sat down again. I wanted to see that again. I wanted to see if I could capture it, if I could conquer it. So, because my heart was thumping. I was really scared. So I sat back down again, and the same thing. The lady comes in. When people sit down, they sit down. She says, "Fasten your seatbelts. We're going to go on a journey." And anyway, they show the same exact movie, which I had just seen. And again, they show the angle of the camera such that it looks like you're in a roller coaster. And they show this cold air and hot air, and they put the chair just a little bit back and the chair a little bit forward. And again, the second time, I also had to close my eyes. I couldn't. It was too scary to me. I went into that thing 5 times until I finally conquered it. Again, stood up, sat down, stood up, sat down when it was all over. 5 times. Finally, the 5th time, I enjoyed it because I knew I was safe. I knew, and I was just like watching a movie, and I was thinking, "Whoa, this is such a clever thing that they did." If you never saw virtual reality, just go to any of these arcades with the children. You know, they put in money and they play a game on these arcades. I don't know if you have those in the UK, but you know, in America you have tons of them, and here even you have them. And they have these movies. They make them in such a way that you feel like you're there. They know how to do that. That's what the Baal Shem Tov said. Why did I do this? Because I wanted to be able to fulfill understanding what the Baal Shem Tov said. The Baal Shem Tov said, this world is a virtual reality. It's safe. You're totally safe. However, it might feel scary. It might look scary. Your sensory organs are sometimes telling you messages, but Lamaisa, you're in it. You're okay. You're safe. Nothing's going to happen to you. You can't fall off of anything because you're sitting on a chair with your seatbelt on, buckled, but they only do that because they want to make you feel like, you know, because when they move the chair forward, you feel the seatbelt tightening and whatever. It's all a virtual reality. There's actually a share on YouTube. I forgot what it's called, but it's about this idea that there's a concept now in science that this whole world really doesn't exist, and it's just a virtual reality, and all of our senses. It's a very interesting concept. Anyway, a Rav gave a shiur. I forgot the guy's name. A young guy, a young rabbi who also gives shiurim in biology. He has a science background, and he gave a shiur on why it is definitely compatible with Judaism to think that we're all in one big giant virtual reality. Anyway, whatever it is, not to be afraid. There's nothing to be afraid of. We have to just be joyous. We have to just be joyous that we're Jews. We have an eternal neshama. Hashem adores us. He's putting us through a game right now for whatever, but we're earning olam haba. We're earning forever and ever, eternity forever and ever, and we have to be grateful for that. Okay, Shulamit, is your question still relevant? You can ask it now. Sorry. No? Okay.
It's just a small question, but it's been bothering me a little bit. And what you brought up about not speaking bad and focusing on the good. So I'm trying to stay off social media, but when I come on it, I notice that what I post, like a lot of people do, I've had, like, since the war, I posted political things some of the time, or, you know, just to help people become aware who are around me, what's going on. When it's a negative thing about Arabs, it sometimes blows up. And I got like 400,000 views on one of my posts, and it was quite negative about the other side. And I wonder, the right thing.
You have 400,000 views on one of your posts?
More, almost 500,000, yeah.
500,000 people watch one of your posts?
I know, and I'm not an influencer or anything like that. It's crazy. It just blew up. I think I have a lot of Muslim followers. At the beginning, I had to come off because I thought, oh my gosh, you know. But I realized.
What platform are you talking about?
Instagram. On Instagram. Yeah. So now I mainly post like inspiring things, but the other ones are still up, and I'm thinking, should I take them down? I mean, at the end of the day, they're negative. It's about also God's children, and does it help anybody to? At the time, I wanted to showcase, look, this is what we're dealing with. But on the other hand, should I just be focusing on the light and on the good and take down the other one? Never sure.
Don't take it down, but I will tell you, I could look at it and tell you, but it's interesting because most of those things are generated robots. They're not really people. They have a whole AI. They have all these programs to try to pick up. Not that I want to
post, but not the viewers. The viewers are real. I think.
No, not necessarily.
Oh, really? Not necessarily.
Yeah, they know how to fix it all to make it. Not that I want to make you diminish.
No, I don't mind.
But the bottom line is that it's all one big program. Yeah, it's all one big program, and they have Robots, they're called bots, BOTS. My
Bots,
students taught me that. They're short for robots, and they're not really people. They're just one person with a program. He can generate 200,000 reactions because they want to have responses. They want to have responses that side on the side of whoever's paying the guy to do the program. So that's why there's no more anymore. There's no more any more reality on any of these responses because you don't know who it is. One of my shiurim from our class on YouTube, I got some also some responses from, Goyim and all kinds of things. So just on the shiur, in other words, they had to listen to the shiur because the title of the shiur was not in any way suggestive of anything. But they even have programs that actually pick up words on YouTube channels, on classes, on speeches, on whatever. They know how to make a program to search for certain words that they're looking for, and then they put in whatever response they want. That's why, by the way, so many, we before the government or before whoever it was, the lefties and the Erevav turned against Israel, we had the best spy system because we are listening to everything. They're listening to the shiur. My phone was tapped years and years ago during Gush Katif because I was very pro Jew, don't give away Gush Katif. And so my phone here in Israel, my house phone was tapped. So there's nothing anymore, but don't take it down. Show it to me and then I'll tell you, because the bottom line is that, as we said before, some people have to say certain things. Some people have to say certain things. It can't be that the people who are just quoting negativity are the Hezbollah for the Jews needs to be fixed. So I don't know what posts you made. Maybe I'll look at them. You could send me.
Like some of them are Hezbollah, and one or two of them are things that I've shared that are not so pleasant about exactly what you said about the Arab world and how they take advantage of children and things like that. So it's not pleasant. I don't like that I shared it. I don't like that I felt I had to share it. But then it was there. I was thinking, should I take it down? It's not nice. Like these are also God's children. I don't know. I'm not sure.
So send me it and I'll look at it. Send me it in YouTube and I'll look at it. Okay, ladies. So anyway, let me wish you all good Shabbos. Say hi to everybody. Hi, Haley. Thank you for being the hostess and doing all this. Hi, Marcel. Hi, Pauline. Hi, Jasmine. Hi, Karen. Hi, Yuzit Bayim and new baby. And hi, Shlamit. Hi, Naomi. Hi, Geraldine. And hi, Karen. And hi, Miriam A. and Aviva and Rebecca Shenkin. And hi, Dahlia. Thank you, Dahlia, for everything that you do for us. Thank you, all of you, for coming. So here's a schedule. Next week, we're going to have one more class. And it's going to be on special tefillos, special prayers that are additional prayers that we say, not the sitter, but additional prayers. Hi, Sarla and baby. Additional prayers that we say in the sitter that I think will be helpful to you, for you to have. And then we're going to take a break until we'll take a break, right? Because it's going to be the month of Av. Usually in the month of Av, we take a break until Elul. So next week we'll have a class, and then we'll take a little bit of a break. Hi, MK. I forgot who you are. Forgive me. I think that's somebody's mom, right? In South Africa. We'll take a break. So come next week, next Thursday, Bezrat Hashem. We'll finish a certain tefillot, and then Bezrat Hashem Mashiach will be here. You'll all come to Eretz Yisrael. We'll have a class by David HaMelech. We'll actually see David HaMelech. I'm going to sit with you in the audience, and David HaMelech will give a class. That will be, whoa, won't that be amazing? That we'll all sit together and hear from David HaMelech. You could see tzaddikim now. Tzaddikim, we have tzaddikim, Baruch Hashem, and we should all hang in there. What happened? Okay, I disappeared. Okay, good. There I am again. Hang in there, ladies. Have a good Shabbos.
Rebbetzin, Silber, shall I WhatsApp you after? I was wondering if I'm in Tel Aviv. I'm here till Sunday. Is there any chance of reaching the Anuka? It's not the right time. Like, what do you know what the situation?
He doesn't see women ever.
No. But you said there's a chance if I go to the shul and sit outside, I could send a message or something. No.
Yeah, but he's not now because it's already Thursday. He's already in Yerushalayim for Shabbos.
And Sunday, does that work or no?
I don't know his schedule. I know that one of my students, her brother is in the middle of, her brother's one of the students. Thank you, Nomi. One of my students' brother is one of the Rav's students, and he has a question to ask him about something going on in the shidduch, and he's been running around the country trying to find him, and he can't find him. So I don't know where he is. Shabbos, he's going to be in Yerushalayim. So
I just missed it then. I was there,
Yeah.
but I've missed it. If I come back again to Yerushalayim, is he there every Shabbos or no?
No, every Shabbos is, thank you, Geraldine, so much. Every Shabbos is different. The
Okay.
last 3-4 Shabbos he's been here in Yerushalayim. Yeah, Kodesh. She usually likes to stay in Yerushalayim for the 3 weeks, but I don't know. We have to wait. I never know until the middle of the week where he'll be for Shabbos. So you can ask me next week. And if you're going to be in Yerushalayim, so you have to be in walking distance of Yamin Moshe. That's what
Oh,
it
well,
would
it's
be.
literally there. That's where I was staying, but
Really?
we missed each other.
Yeah. In Yamin Moshe, you were saying?
Well, I was staying close to Min Moshe. I've got friends there, so we were there a few times during the week.
Okay.
But it was the
Right.
wrong.
But
It wasn't
you were there. Remember, you were once there in the place where they davened. Remember? Last year, wasn't that you? One of the
Shabbos.
chevra.
No,
I
it
forgot
wasn't.
who it was. Okay, let's go. Let's let everybody get off the thing. Have a good Shabbos, everybody. Good Shabbos. Good
Shabbos,
Shabbos.
thank you so much.
You're very welcome.